Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board here on a Football Friday. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. We are live at the Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. And this show is brought to you by DraftKings every Friday throughout the entire football season. Adam Chernoff joins us at this time. You can follow him on X. He is at Adam Chernoff. And his podcast is called The Simple Handicap. Adam, thanks for the time as always, friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. Lots of games on the board this week, lots of moving parts. So I think we're going to get to all of them, aren't we?
Sure. Let's go rapid fire here and get your thoughts on all of them then. We'll begin with the games tomorrow. The first game, Pittsburgh playing at Baltimore. This number now bet down a little bit yesterday, down to 3.5. I'm seeing 3.5 even money. Some spots I see a 1-3 on the board right now. And the total came down to 35 as well. What do you make of this matchup between the Steelers and the Ravens?
Enormous premium put on the Pittsburgh Steelers for the must-win angle, for the Ravens resting starters angle. Realistically, if this was a game where all things were played equal, maybe we saw it last week, for example, before we had all these implications, you're looking at the Ravens, based on market ratings, about an 8.5 to 9-point favorite. Some could argue that number could be even higher. So it kind of shows you how much we have moved here in anticipation of this spot. Could only look to the Ravens at this point. But what I will say that has kind of kept things off from the betting account so far is big element to this. The Ravens with a loss do a pretty big part to keeping Buffalo out of the playoffs and would give Pittsburgh an in. That's an interesting factor. We know the Ravens love to win these meaningless games. They always play hard, but probably would much rather see a Pittsburgh in the playoffs than you would a Buffalo team coming a little bit later. So interesting angle there that maybe we see a few more runs down the stretch in the second half. So Ravens are nothing but a stay away from me. Just a massive premium on the Steelers here.
Okay, the playoffs start a week early with the night game. Favorites flipped in this one. Houston against Indy, winners in. What do you think?
I think this is going to be one of the best in-play betting games of the entire season. So if you're watching and you're at home on Saturday night, you've got the apps open, and you're looking at this game specifically, you have C.J. Stroud going against a Colts defense that sits in a ton of softer zone, a ton of cover three, a defense that he has a ton of success against. And on the other side, you have Shane Steichen, who's just an all-time chase coach. If he's trailing, aggression goes through the roof, pass rate goes through the roof. And if the Colts have the lead, we've seen Steichen completely try to deflate games with the run game and go 8 runs in a row, 10 runs in a row, 12 runs in a row. Just a crazy chase coach Steichen has turned into. And Houston's going to be able to keep up with that on the other side with their play calling as well. And so I'm going to be watching this. QB attempts over for the trailing team, running back attempts over if there's a team leading late in the second half. A lot of different ways that you can look at this in play. I think now from a price, we're fair on the side. We're fair on the total. Going to be a fun game. It would be Colts or nothing for me, but I'm going to be looking at this one in play more so than pregame.
Hardcore in play with the player props with Adam Chernoff here. Saints at home to the Falcons. Great game last week by New Orleans. They've typically been better on the road for whatever reason than they are at home. Lane 3 here to your guy, Arthur Smith in Atlanta.
We can move on from the my guy comments now that the win total is shot and done. So we're moving on. Atlanta's a little bit dead to me at this point. Not sure how live they're going to be in this game. We saw these two teams play just a couple of weeks ago. That was one of the more misleading wins and misleading box scores of the entire season. The Falcons won 24-15. That was the Saints team that got into the red zone consistently and just couldn't convert. And so interesting matchup here. I think the price, unfortunately, from a betting side, is probably quite fair at this point now that we've got to a 3. We still don't know who's starting a quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons as we talk here on a Friday morning. So tough for me to make much of this side. Can't make much of the total either, but obviously an enormous game here for both teams with the South on the line. This one, as are a couple other games in Week 18 here, I think this one's priced pretty fair on both sides.
How about Bengals up to 7? And Brown's sitting everybody and just signed I'm blanking on the kid's name. Driscoll, sorry. And they're going with Driscoll at quarterback. Thank you.
Yep. So, again, massive premium here put on the Cincinnati Bengals. This number would never be anywhere close to 7, all things equal. We're seeing it priced in for the starters. We're seeing it just a massive move in favor of the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's the problem that I have. I would want to find a way in to try back Cleveland, but these teams that are locked into playoff spots, electing to rest starters. I'm not talking about like the bye and the number 1 seeds, but these other teams where the next week on deck is going to be a playoff game. In the case of the Browns, another road game. These teams have really underperformed the last several seasons. And so even with this number being inflated on Cincinnati, I'm just hesitant to take the Browns because of this spot. It's just not a spot where I like to back teams, even if they are getting a bit of an inflated number. And what also makes this interesting too, and really has me tempted on Cleveland, we saw yesterday injury report comes out. T. Higgins not practicing, Joe Mixon not practicing, Browning shows up with a foot injury. Chase we know is not 100%, but looks like he'll go either way. There's a lot of issues now sort of coming up for the Cincinnati Bengals, and you have Driscoll on the other side coming against a team that he was with before getting let go just recently. So there's an interesting angle from that side too. But obviously when you see the Browns, they're sitting the guys, it's for a reason. And that's because they have a big game coming up next week. And that just makes me a little bit hesitant, even with a very inflated number here on the Bengals.
They played games with this number all week. I believe Campbell, I think he'll play people. What do you think of Detroit at home to Minnesota?
Yeah, that was the early indication from the press conference that we saw. And there was an interesting angle that was kind of brewing based on what he was saying specifically at press conferences about the frustration on how Brad Allen blows the call and puts the Lions now basically locked into the 3 seed if the Cowboys come through in the afternoon game. And so it didn't look like there was going to be incentive, and everything that Campbell has said suggests that the Lions are going to play everybody and they're treating this as a normal game. On the other side, O'Connell going back to Mullins, something he probably regrets not doing for the first half with that blunder starting Hall. But this has been a really interesting market because when these two teams played just a couple of weeks ago, Minnesota was getting smashed by pros, people that I speak with, people that I respect. Everybody was just all over the Minnesota Vikings. That number came down late week. The Vikings were getting bet on game day. And it was all a matchup-based driven move where you look at what the Vikings do defensively and how much the Lions struggle with it on offense, specifically Jared Goff. It was a really, really good matchup for the Vikings. And now that repeats in this spot, but you have the conflicting motivation. So the number was quite inflated at 5. It got bet with Vikings money, got down to 3. Market said that's too low considering where last matchup closed. Now we've seen it come back a little bit for the Lions. I still think those matchup problems exist. And if you add in the fact that you may look at a Lions team that if they get ahead late in the second half, maybe they're up going into the early part of the fourth quarter, they may be willing to pull starters knowing they have a playoff game on deck too. And then you get Bridgewater against his old team coming in, which is an interesting angle as well. So really, we're kind of seeing 2 clear buy points on this game. Tough to see much here at 3.5, but also very tough to ignore how much pros loved Minnesota because of the matchup just a couple of weeks ago.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Adam Chernoff, his podcast is called The Simple Handicap. We're going rapid fire here, all these games in Week 18. Admittedly, I'm treading lightly at this point still with some of these games because it is a tricky week. One of those games, and you have to explain this to me. I've been saying this now for, I think, 3 days in a row on the show. And you're a lifelong Jets fan. Why are the Patriots laying 1.5 points to the Jets here?
Well, here's the concern is that we've seen the Jets defense hanging on week after week after week. Jeff Ulbrich has had a fantastic season as defensive coordinator, keeping everybody together amidst the struggles, amidst the turmoil. But last Thursday, I think we saw the signs that the Jets defense kind of looking forward to the next season. First time they've allowed 300-plus passing yards. Joe Flacco and that Browns offense did whatever they wanted against this Jets defense. And that was really kind of the big concern coming down the stretch. And you wonder if that repeats here. I know Bailey Zappi against the Bills looked horrendous, but still the Pats have been trending as a bit more of an over team with Zappi than they were with Jones or anybody else midseason. So I think that concern is real. Offensively, don't know what you're getting from the Jets, especially if the weather holds in this game. Expected to have a lot of wind, expected for the chance of snow. If that eliminates some of the passing game, any run game plan that the Jets put together against this Pats defense, it's going to be a tough one to execute. New England's defending the run extremely well. I think you're getting another good defensive effort in what very well could be the final game at home in Foxborough for Belichick in this spot. So a couple motivational angles brewing around here for New England, as well as a really good matchup against the run. And if the Jets can't throw, then that certainly bodes well for New England. All that said, Mitch, you're looking at this 2.5. Tough to be comfortable laying that number with New England, as small as it might be. considering where this number would have been just a couple of days ago before we get into the Week 18 implications and this becoming essentially a meaningless game. So I'm waffling on a lot of games here because that's the nature of Week 18 on a Friday morning. But this is another one. Stay away from me. But what I will say, guys, watch this total at 30.5. The weather forecast is so extreme at the moment, but it's very time window sensitive around when kickoff is. If you see the winds specifically start to ease up a little bit and they get below that 20 mile per hour mark into like the high teens, and maybe the snow isn't as bad as forecasted, 30.5 is going to be a little bit short come Sunday. Now, if the weather holds, this is going to be one of the ugliest weather games we've seen in a long time. But really, this number at 30.5, awfully low if that weather subsides in any way. So if you're watching the injury or the weather report, come Sunday morning, keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
That could be very real.
Yeah, it's been referred to as a nor'easter now this week, which could mean obviously bedlam with how bad it could be. But again, that time-sensitive window there could obviously have everything to do with us betting on this total in that game. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Adam Chernoff is our guest. We'll continue with one more segment with Adam up next. I think it's a fascinating handicap this week with Jacksonville playing at Tennessee. We'll get Adam's thoughts on that game. And he does have an opinion on the marquee game of the week, the Sunday night matchup between the Bills and the Dolphins. Find out which side he likes coming up next here on VSiN.
Michigan-Washington on Monday for a breakdown of the game, and everyone has a pick and a prop. Become a subscriber. Intro offer $9.99. Every play, every host, every guest. The betting splits. Don't miss out. Limited time offer. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get in there, $9.99. Become part of the team. VSiN.com/subscribe.
We continue. Adam Chernoff, our guest. Podcast is called The Simple Handicap. I think this is a fascinating handicap and game overall. And there was a move yesterday. Jacksonville was a 5.5-point favorite. Adam, that's now down to 3.5, total of 41. What do you make of this?
Okay, probably get Lawrence, may not get Kirk. We know that Agnew's going to miss. This is a Jags offense that is going to be far less than 100%. It's a Jags defense that's downtrending in a massive way over the last month plus. So this is a big number for Jacksonville to be laying on the road, even if Lawrence is in and ready to go. Mike Vrabel with one of the most sort of emotional press conferences we've seen of any head coach for a team that's out of the playoff picture. He wants the full effort. Send-off game for Henry. Send-off game likely for Tannehill if he starts over Levis. Lots of angles going here for the Titans. Some very real pro money on Tennessee yesterday. 3.5, right at the very edge of how far you could push this, but it's absolutely Tennessee or nothing at home in this one.
Okay, one more early game for the division. If Tampa wins, horrible job last week. Mayfield with the ribs taking on Carolina. What do you think?
Mayfield, yes, dinged up, as you mentioned, not 100%. This is a Bucs team that's at a big premium here, considering the spot that's already being priced in a big way. Carolina, absolutely nothing going for them in this spot, locked in every regard to missing the playoffs as well as the draft. What I will say, though, Chris Tabor, interim head coach, nothing to lose in this spot. Came out and said they're playing everybody. Everyone's going to be a full go that's able to. And so you're probably going to get, again, that spoiler effort from the Panthers against the division opponent. We saw Carolina money come in earlier in the week. This is one you can wait on until you get to game day. The Bucs are going to be very popular Sunday morning. Maybe we see this number slide up a little bit, but Panthers are nothing.
Okay. Why don't we tie in two games here going on at the same exact time? Dallas, lane 13 at Washington, and then Philadelphia, same time, now lane 6 against the Giants, and how these games could unfold.
Sure. Pauly, I really wanted to be with you and back the Cowboys in this one at 13. It's just too big of a number for me. This is what it closed Thanksgiving against Washington in Dallas, indoors at home where they've been dominant. Now they're going on the road into Washington where there's a chance of weather, where there's a chance of wind, where there's a chance of rain. And the Cowboys have just pulled off of games in the second half. They've pulled starters before in the regular season when having a lead. Just worries me a little bit. And I wish we could have saw Jacoby Brissett. I would have been into the Commanders. Yeah. Can't do it now, but I totally hear the matchup advantages that you say the Cowboys have against this Commanders secondary. Interesting thing with the Eagles going into MetLife, that turf, they've talked about it all week. There's still rumors that they may sit starters. What I think probably happens here is the Eagles play some guys, at least early in the game. And if that Cowboys score is getting out of hand against the Commanders, we may see a willingness for the Eagles to pull guys later. Not confirmed on anything, but the Eagles with a Cowboys win would be pushed into the wild card spot. And so it's kind of this dual incentive between both of these teams at the same time, like you mentioned, Mitch. But the upgrade for Tyrod Taylor versus Tommy DeVito is very significant, and that's more than being priced in at this point. And if the Eagles end up sitting their guys, you probably see this come down a little bit further. And so there's some real interest in the Giants at 6 yesterday and Wednesday. But now it's just kind of a wait and see if there's any announcement from the Eagles on their starters between now and kickoff.
Yeah, and when we get that news, would you ponder, I know it's going to be baked in potentially here, but would you ponder under on player props for the Eagles?
Potentially. Props have been so difficult this week because we've just seen very little available, but that's a very similar kind of how some of these NBA games have trended with some of these guys saying they're going to play and then sit, and how we've seen that. If we get a full offering of Eagles props and the starters are said to go early on in the game, that could become a very interesting angle for sure.
Would you go Dallas first half? Mitch's angle?
Well, right. And so that's where I was going to say, we're seeing the first half at like an expensive 7, almost pushing 7.5. So that's close to being priced in as well in this. But if I had to go something, it would be Dallas first half, as there's just significant matchup advantages against the secondary. But I'm with you on that one.
How about Bears-Packers?
So this has been like the popular pro side Chicago has all week long. 3.5 got taken. 3s are getting taken as well. Let's see if this pushes down to 2.5 or continues to go lower. The Bears defense has been playing terrific the last month plus, really all season, but against the run in the last month and a bit, they've really come on. And how that matches up against the Packers is interesting, because the one weakness for Chicago that you can see in this is going to be their secondary, where there's a chance that Johnson misses. He's their best corner. But the Packers, every wide receiver is dealing with some sort of injury issue. And so it's really tough to figure out what kind of health we're going to see from the Packers at the wide receiver spot. They took advantage of the Vikings in kind of a terrific spot where whatever O'Connell did in that first half really set the Packers up for a ton of success, and the offense was comfortable all game. And so I look at this, I can't get there with the Bears in this one. I know it's probably Fields in his final game pushing to be the starter for next year. Eberflus, though, has already got the vote of confidence. He's coming back. There's going to be an OC change regardless next year for Chicago. I'm not sure what full effort you're getting from Chicago in this spot. I don't want to lay it at home with Green Bay because this number's priced up a little bit too. So it's a tough one for me, but certainly a lot of love for Chicago so far this week.
Okay, how about the two games in the AFC West? Chargers 3.5. Gabbard goes for the Chiefs, and then the Denver Las Vegas game.
So Denver if this game was played last week, Denver would have playoff implications aside, but just market ratings based, Denver would have been a favorite on the road in Las Vegas. We're now seeing the Raiders out to -3. You saw Devontae Adams at the podium advocating for Antonio Pierce to come back. This is a meaningless game for both sides in the sense that both are eliminated from the playoffs, but it's very clear who has the motivational edge that's being more than priced in. You're seeing almost a field goal bump here based off market ratings of what would make this game just because of the Pierce motivation angle. So how real is that going to be for Aiden O'Connell and an offense for the Raiders that has really struggled with the rookie as a starting quarterback against this Broncos defense? If Surtain can match up with Adams, I'm not sure where the Raiders go for a lot of offense. So popular angle, but I don't know if this move is fully warranted. In the Chiefs-Chargers game, I mean, you're looking Chargers 3.5 with Easton Stick, no Keenan Allen, no Josh Palmer. And you're looking at a preseason roster laying 3.5 at home against the Chiefs. And I know we can look back at the Chiefs in early preseason and say that week 2 game against Arizona, the Chiefs offense and those quarterbacks as backups were having enormous games. However, we talked about the Cleveland spot, right? And how bad this is for these teams that have the wild card week game coming up, that are resting their guys. We saw the Chiefs a couple years ago when they had things locked up, rest guys, and it was clear that their motivation was on the playoffs, and that's where their focus was. The Chargers would be the ugliest bet I think that anybody could have made all season long if you were to pull the trigger. I was convinced I was going to find a way to back the Chiefs at 3.5. I can't do it. And I have a feeling that I'm going to end up on the Chargers here at 3.5. Okay. I'm hoping the Chiefs get bet between now and kickoff. It's as ugly as it gets, but I couldn't end up touching the Chiefs here in this one, just with the playoff game coming up next week, as ugly as it is.
We'll get to Sunday night in a second. We have 2.5 minutes left here. What's your breakdown of Niners-Rams?
I've heard that 49ers starters are going to play at least some chunk of it. We know Purdy and McCaffrey are out, but Shanahan has been saying how 2 bye weeks in a row is bad for anybody. There's been other pros I'm talking with that really like San Francisco, but the look has been 49ers in the first half. I mean, market ratings would have had this north of a touchdown, and we're seeing the Rams sitting nearly everybody. Nakua is going to come out of the game shortly after he gets the record, and so it'd be 49ers first half or nothing for me.
Okay, here you go. The Sunday night marquee game of the entire weekend. Bills-Dolphins. Bills have to have this game. If they do, the division is theirs. Now it's come off of 3 here. Which side do you like?
I've waffled and been indecisive for 20 minutes. Let's end with something that's decisive. I like the Dolphins in this game. I would look at the money line plus 130 at this point. You can take the 2.5 if you prefer. I think we see Allen really reduce his amount of running, dealing with the neck stinger issue. That running game of Allen and his willingness to run more with the new OC has been something that's kept this offense afloat. I think the Bills will find some success on the ground, but I'm looking at an offense that just hasn't been right for the last couple of weeks since you saw Brady take over. And what's going on with Stephon Diggs? Is there an injury? Is there something else going on? There's something very real there that's a problem with him. And we're seeing this game bumped up about 5.5 points to where we were a week ago. I get that some of that is injury driven for Miami, but to me, this has just gone too far. This game would have had Miami as a favorite before last week. Incentives for both sides have not changed. The one thing that worries me, guys, if you see a spot where this is added incentive for Buffalo to make the playoffs based on the Steelers-Ravens game, as well as the Jags game, we're probably going to see this number go back up a little bit. But as it stands now, Dolphins are the side for me, and the one thing that I can have some conviction on in Week 18 here on a Friday morning. So Miami, the side to me, I think it's gone too far for Buffalo.
You're the man. Follow him on X. He's at Adam Chernoff. Again, his podcast is called The Simple Handicap, and also a lot of free content at the Right Angle Sports app as well. Thanks, pal. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks very much, guys. Playoffs next week. I'm looking forward to it.
You got
100%. We'll recap last night's betting action with great videos again today in Win Some, Lose Some, coming up next.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Hello, NHL. Big night on the ice. Road teams 10-3 last night. Thanks to Jonathan Davis, the Winnipeg Jets did it again. They beat San Jose on the road 2-1. They've held their opponent under their team total 7 in a row and 14 of 15.
Okay, do you know how impressive this is?
Yes, this is nuts.
Now the question is, obviously, with the defense and the goaltending, it's superb. Do they have enough of an attack offensively to actually make a deep run into the playoffs?
Yeah. I know Jeff Davis has a rogue number on them to win the West at a huge number.
Yeah.
I'm dying to wear my Winnipeg Jets jersey on air. They make the playoffs, and if this could possibly happen. But what they've done defensively is spectacular. Nuts. Second period overs. Rangers, 15 of 16. LA Kings, 10 of 11. First period overs. Ottawa, 10 of 11. Dallas, 15 of 17. Goal in the first 10. Dallas at home, a loser yesterday. But the first period went over. And we got there with a goal in the first 10 on the road for Ottawa. College hoops, Arizona 9.5 up to 12.5. Beat Colorado by 50. Oh, mama. Or 50, or I think it was 40 or 50.
Well,
my God.
Colorado, they were without a couple of their star players. And also Arizona just got drubbed by Stanford. So it was like get right. It was a perfect spot for them. And right. As you can see, they took a ton of money.
Right. North Texas, Wichita State over 129.5 up to 135. 74-62. James Madison does it again.
Here we go.
14-0 straight up. Lenardi has him a 10 seed in bracketology.
I'll take that.
Come on. Let's go. A lot of winnable games coming up. Grand Canyon, 13-1 straight up. Beat San Diego State a couple weeks ago. Another good team. Eastern Kentucky, +3, went off the favorite, won by 8. Elon and William and Mary, the under, 159 down to 152, and Bill and Mary, 1.5 up to 4. They won by 7. Wisconsin, Milwaukee from 9 down to 5, lost by 5. Let's go. We cover everything. Heat 2 starts filming later this year. Adam Driver is playing Neil McCauley. It's a prequel and a sequel. As I tweeted yesterday, it's one of the best movies of all time. It has the best, it's not The Town, good movie. It has one of the best shootout scenes ever. When they catch De Niro and Val Kilmer robbing the bank and Pacino comes out. That scene is used by Marines in weapons training. Michael Mann nailed it. It goes on for 5-10 minutes. I watched the movie in the theater. Oh, is it loud. And they also had the LAPD on site to help them out in the right when you're catching bank robbers. How do you respond? Oh, it's so good.
I've said this many times. Somehow, some way, that movie gets lost in the shuffle.
Oh, no
It's
doubt.
absolutely underrated, and it holds up to this day. No question.
The cast is incredible.
But yes, it is.
Sopranos today. Marathon starts on HBO. They're doing a season every day for the next week. Kawhi Leonard, the last 11 games he's played, the Clippers are 11-0. He's shooting 60% from the field, 50% from 3, and 95% from the free throw line. Any good?
Well, are people still doubting this team?
Yeah, they better not. Real deal. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos. How good is this? The dog with his toy in his mouth trying to help out Simba on the TV as he's watching the movie where he's stuck on the branch here. Come to me, son. Come on, jump, son. And look at the guy, the dog is trying to help out. I'll save you. Look at this. I got you, buddy. Or he's watching the TV and they're trying to help out Simba. And he's got the toy in the mouth the whole time too, right?
Sure.
And he's trying to, and he's acting, trying to help out as he's watching the movie. And it's like the dog licking the snack and trying to eat the sandwich when he's watching on TV.
Yeah, he's convinced this is real life.
That's right. Yeah, I'll help you. I got you. No. I love that. That is so good. And he's trying to save the day. What a nice run here. Well, let's go back to Alaska. Again, look at the size of this moose. Look at this big fella coming down. Walking down. Oh, my God. He's bigger than the car. Look at this. As the car's backing up, trying to get a glimpse like he's looking at a UFO.
Come on. This can't be real.
Oh, yeah. Oh, mama. Just walking down the highway, they can't believe he's bigger than the truck.
He's twice as tall as that S. Look at that.
Yes.
Was that like a Suburban?
Yes.
He's dwarfed. Come on.
Yeah, you got to pull over and take a picture and film it.
This has to be AI.
No, come on. I buy it. Absolutely.
A moose that big. His legs are 10 feet high.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I buy it. I got to play on Monday. I got a good one for you where the guy rescued the baby moose. Volume up. Mitch will love this. We got the husky with the mom and the puppies. There you go.
Teach them young.
That's right. You got 5 puppies in the crate, and they started, and now mom's going to end it. Let's go. That's got to be fun, huh? That goes on for several minutes.
It's got to be great to have all 5 at your house.
All right. One lose some. What kind of dog is this?
Oh, hey, buddy, you want a snack?
He's giving the bear berries, and he's sitting down, and he's bigger than the human, and the dog's sitting down next to him, cuddling up, getting little berries and a snack here. I mean, this is amazing video with the bear. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You scratch that itch? All right.
Look at the size of the paw.
I know. He's just sitting down. He's feeding them berries. You're right. The bear's just sitting down. Now, look at this shot.
Hey, can I just lick your face here real quick?
This puts it in perspective how big this guy is. It's Revenant with DiCaprio. Look at the size of this creature. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Want a snack? Look at that. Rubs his belly. I mean, if this guy is in a bad mood, it's over.
Look, I once asked Chuck Norris how many times he could kill me in less than 10 seconds.
Right, yes.
Oh, we giggled, and he said at least 10. This bear could kill this human being 100 times in less than 10. Look at this. The paw with one swipe would rip this guy's head off.
Yeah, absolutely.
He could put that guy's head inside of his mouth and bite down, and it's over with.
Oh, so good. Between this and the moose. Look at him. How you doing, buddy? All right. Couple bad beats. First period over St. Louis and Vancouver. A goal 2 minutes in. Nothing the rest of the way. And a moose in San Francisco. Yes. Golden State +3 and the money line. They were up 16 with 5 minutes left. Aaron Gordon took over, and Joker with the kiss from half court to win it. Nuggets by 3.
Ouch.
Oh, what a finish. Up 16 with 5 minutes, and the Warriors couldn't win the game.
Oh.
Imagine if you took 3. That is a brutal push. It went up to 4 in most spots.
Man.
The Suns are the 9.
Horrible.
The Lakers are the 10.
Yep.
The Warriors are the 11 seed in the West. If you're looking for a betting edge with the championship game, we have you covered. Washington, Michigan, VSiN Pro subscriber, intro offer, $9.99. Get every play, every host, every guest in the betting splits. Don't miss out. Limited time offer. VSiN.com/subscribe. $9.99. Become part of the Sports Betting Network. VSiN.com/subscribe. Also, college basketball. Minnesota is 13-1 ATS so far.
Oh.
And did Chuck Norris go into detail about how many he could kill you 10?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen to the interview.
He could 10.
I think he
10
grabbed
different
me.
ways.
I think he grabbed me and he's like, "This would be one way and this would be another way." And
I just watched Equalizer 3 on Netflix with Denzel. I mean, imagine it'd be that type of thing. It's not bad.
That trailer looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
How are the first 2?
Good, not bad.
Isn't that where he sets the watch and he's like,
That's
you got
it.
like 30 seconds
That's
and then.
it. He only does it a couple times in this one.
Okay.
But he is.
Have you watched John Wick 4?
Parts of it.
Okay.
Parts. Halle Berry's in 3, right?
I get him confused.
Yeah, I got to get on 4.
You want to feel old? Or how fast does time go by? John Wick 1 came out 10 years ago this week.
What?
And that puppy
Right?
that gets killed right in the first 10 minutes. I'm like, what am I watching here?
Right. The beagle.
Still alive today.
Yeah?
And the people who owned that dog renamed it Wick.
Is that right?
Yeah. I saw that this week that it came out. Pretty cool. We got a message. I don't know the name though. Put your name on it. What is the temperature in the studio? Are you guys going to have a snowball fight after breaks? Well, I got a couple things going on today. I got like a sweater and a coat. Hey, look.
You're bundled up. It's bad out here, though.
I'll tell you.
It's bad.
If you think Las Vegas is like a tropical destination in the wintertime, that smacked me in the face when I first came out here in December and January. I'm like, what is this? I didn't sign up for this crap. It's like 25 next week for 5 straight days.
Well, I got people freaking out because Pauly Palooza's next week.
You're going to have to cancel.
It's my birthday, and I have a cabana. The high is 39.
It's dipping. No, come on.
Yeah. What day you want?
I don't want any of them.
Throw a day.
I looked at the forecast. I said, what is happening?
Yeah, okay. I have the cabana Saturday for the NFL playoffs. Joe's already freaking out. He goes, we have to get girls in to make us warm. I go, the high's 42. Sunday, it's 39. But the water's 90 degrees, and they'll have the heater. But can you imagine coming out of the water, though? Going in? Oh,
do you see what we're dealing with living in Las Vegas? I mean, you get the point here. I mean, it's
39.
really, come on.
I got away from that. I moved specifically to get away from this.
I'll take negative 30 in the Midwest over 20 in the desert. Well, not really. But
Lisa Ann couldn't make it either. I reached out to her. She wanted to come a couple of years ago. She couldn't make it.
I will also say this. People have no idea how windy it gets out here.
Yes.
It cuts right through your bones like a buzzsaw. Like 28 degrees and high winds. Get out of here. It sucks. Up next, In Pocket Plays coming up here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
On coke if his girlfriend was not
These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your unborn children's children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
We dance for the final time. Week 18. Oh, mama. I know what you're saying, too. I can watch Sopranos anytime I want. It's just different when it's on HBO, when it's one after another.
Do you think of it like this? You also have it in your head that other people across the country are watching the marathon at the same time as you.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, that's so right. Good. And the reaction, yeah.
That's why I used to watch Game of Thrones every year. They used to do it around Christmas time. They would start it. And they didn't do it this year for some reason. I'm adding the Raiders. I can only go by what these players are saying. And now that's Crosby, that's Adams. They want Pierce to get the job, and I think the whole team feels the same way. And they've beat Denver 7 in a row. I'll lay the 2.5 with the Raiders at home here to get it done, and I'm proud to be on the same side as John Murray. Again at the Westgate, who's 14-3 this year.
Hell of a job by him.
On Nesson with Sammy P. Oh, what a way to start the day tomorrow. Woo! Steelers and Ravens. Can the Steelers somehow get into the playoffs here? And if the Steelers lose, the Bills are in. But I just think the way Rudolph's playing in this offense, going against the backups, and you don't know how long. Yes, the weather's going to be bad. And I know every time they play, it's close. And these ridiculous numbers on Baltimore 20-4. ATS run as a dog. And as you pointed out earlier, when it's Harbaugh against Tomlin, the dog is 23-5-3 ATS, called 82%. Yeah. Oh, man. Bengals, I laid 4.5 and I laid 6. It's up to 7. There's no telling how high it's going to go. I mean, who knows what this gets to on Sunday with Driscoll going for the Brownies. And there could be guys out for the Bengals, though, too, I imagine. And I have to do it. I mean, I think it's his final game. I think Kraft whacks him on Monday. But they beat the Jets. It's ugly. It's 15 in a row. It's 18 of 19, and it's 23 of 25. And if they can beat Pittsburgh and Denver on the road, at the time we thought it ruined Pittsburgh's season, but it did ruin Denver's season. I think they'll do enough in what could be a horrendous game for weather that they'll find a way to win and cover against a Jet team that's quit a long time ago and a silly Jet team that leads the league in penalties and can't convert a third down.
All right. Here we go.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, good job.
I found this today because...
Where'd you get this? That's cheap.
It's available at a national sports book right now.
Yeah, good job.
Patriots minus 120 on the money line. So I'm betting them as well. That's going to be my approach to this game. I would not be able to live with myself if we come back here on Monday morning and we're talking about, hey, imagine that. Patriots won 13-0.
Yeah, 24-3.
And I don't have a little bit of Bill Belichick here on the game to win it outright. Yeah, minus 120. To me, this game should be much closer to 3 than where it's at right now. Cardinals +3, minus 115 against the Seahawks. I bet that earlier in the week. If you shop around, I believe that number is still available as we speak. So I totally agree with what Adam Chernoff brought up. This was going to be my angle during the game throughout the week anyway. Niners first half, another sports book that you can find. It's actually minus 120, but Niners first half minus 2.5. Again, the thought here is, okay, so Puka's going to be the one guy to play on the Rams offense, and they're going to get him, hopefully, like that record and get him out of the game. Meanwhile, as Adam said 20 minutes ago, Adam Chernoff, it's going to be Sam Darnold and no Christian McCaffrey, but there's a chance here Shanahan does go with a lot of the other starters for a half. Minus 2.5? Okay.
I'm with you on these. Niners first half, Bengals first half, Dallas first half. To me, the money quote, though, is Shanahan. I expect both teams to go vanilla because we could play again in 2 weeks.
Well, that obviously scares me away from it a little bit, but as long as he's going to go with the starters out there, I think that it will supersede everything else.
Well, it's still you can win, and it's a high total of 41 for that, maybe.
Jeff Driscoll, last 5 years, he's 0-3-1 ATS as a starting quarterback. He has not started since the pandemic. He's been with the Browns now for a week. In those games in the pandemic, it wasn't great, as you could probably guess. He also played 3 games in 2019, 6 games in 2018. I like the Bengals. I like everything that's being said. So I'll go another first half bet here. Bengals -3, minus 115. Coming up on Sunday.
Before you make your next bet, visit vsin.com. Check the current betting splits data. Want to know where the money and bets are moving every NFL or bowl game? It's updated with DraftKings odds every 5 minutes. You can see changes in all the action. Find out where the public's betting based on the number of tickets and where the money doesn't match the public opinion. We've recently added soccer betting splits from around the world. FA Cup today. Big weekend with that. Check it out. vsin.com/splits. FTM at vsin.com. And tweet at us as well. Give us something, and we'll grade your work Monday. Give us something that happens that'll blow your mind. Call an upset. Call something you'll fall off your couch if this happens this weekend. Would you get Minnesota Vikings make the playoffs?
Oh, that's
a 38-1 shot.
Okay, all right. What has to happen?
How about the Bills miss the playoffs? How about this? This Sunday night game is nuts. They have the third best odds to win the Super Bowl. They may not even make the playoffs.
Yeah. Safe to say that we haven't been in this position with a
I've
team
never
in
seen
a
this.
long. But you know what's crazy?
I've never seen this. How about Atlanta?
Hey, hold on. What's crazy about that is if Buffalo wins the game, 11 wins on the year, and they're the 2 seed, at the end of the day, we're going to be saying, well, that we probably would have said 2 seed at the beginning of the year.
No, I know. Oh, boy, all the games they blew coming back, they looming large right now. How many games did they blow? Which I knew they blew out Miami in the first game, and they've owned them, beat them 9-10. But
here's
if Pittsburgh wins and Jacksonville wins, the Bills have to win it, or they're going home. Yep. I like the Atlanta scenario. Atlanta could be the 4 seed or be the 8th pick in a draft.
Please don't get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I hate it when junk teams get in.
Yeah. How about Ben Johnson there? I'll pay you whatever you want.
Maybe. Well, $15 million for a guy who's never coached before.
Well,
I mean, and again, who knows if that's actually accurate?
That's true, but that's also Steichen helps him out though too. I mean, if Steichen can have this kind of success.
Yeah, you brought this up with the Vikings.
Here we go.
So bet the parlay rather than 25 to 1 to make it.
The parlay's 38.
Here's what they need to happen. They have to win at the Lions. Packers have to lose. Seahawks have to lose. Saints have to lose. Or win at the Lions. Packers have to lose. Seahawks have to lose. Buccaneers have to lose. And then they would actually get into the playoffs. How about and this is not priced out of this world, but the Packers to miss the playoffs. They lose that game. They can't lose outright to Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's wild. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back here and the Saints are the 7th seed. That's not far fetched.
Right.
Saints win, Seahawks lose, Packers lose.
Monday's show, when we're live on the air on Black Monday, the breaking news that could happen with the coaches getting canned. As long as they don't happen like on Sunday after the games, whatever, like it did. I think, didn't that happen to Lovey last year? As soon as the game was done, you're gone. You're fired. We'll see you later. Then why'd you have him win the game? Yeah. But I don't know. You could tell me 6 coaches when we're on the air on Monday could get fired. I would buy that. I mean, how many of those teams who missed the playoffs
you want to run it down?
NFC South are actually safe?
Belichick, Art Smith.
I'm not so. I think
Ron
Belichick
Rivera.
comes back. Rivera's got to be gone.
It's not that much.
Will Mark Davis make up his mind?
I think he's going to take a lot of time.
I don't think. Yeah,
I think he's going to have to. Let's say they win, I think he's going to go with Pierce. He'll make a run at Harbaugh, but he'll go with Pierce because of what happened with Bisaccia.
Yep, and you know what's going to happen.
Want it.
Right. So in 2015, they had a chance. They were talking to Jim Harbaugh, or whatever. And then they went in another direction. If Pierce wins this game and he settles by default, we're going to have to do it. Otherwise, the fan base is going to be pissed off.
Yep.
And if they had a chance to get Harbaugh and he goes to, let's say, the Chargers, good luck.
Oh, that's bad.
Good luck, Raiders.
Well, I know this.
Have fun.
Spanos has got to go all in. He needs to make a big-time hire.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care who it is. It's Belichick, it's Harbaugh, it's Ben Johnson. You got to get somebody. You have zero interest and zero fans. And you can't waste Herbert. And as you said yesterday, this poor kid, Cristobal to Anthony Lynn to Brandon Staley. Please.
Now, he signed a $250 million contract, so it's tough for me to feel sorry for anybody. I do almost feel sorry for him. Seems like a good kid, but what did he do to deserve that in terms of head coaches to deal with? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, ugly. All right.
That'd be something if the Bears play spoiler, and the same thing happens with the Packers 2 years in a row.
All good.
At home, division rival, winning in.
That and all of that on Monday, and then the national title game, and then we'll have playoff numbers to talk about.
Survivor will be over. How many? Yeah. Does Indiana Jet get there the whole way? How does Matt Humans do?
Who does he go with? How does he approach it?
Yeah.
This week, for sure. Yeah, ftm@vsin.com is the email. On X, @vsin Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, @Pauly Howard. If you missed any of the show today, getting you set for Week 18, it was a fun one. You can search Follow the Money wherever you get your podcasts. Stay warm. Best of luck betting this weekend. We'll see you.